Good evening. Are you having a good day, a good morning, a good afternoon? Did you have a good weekend? Who knows? Who cares? Anyway, I'm going to be doing a review of Legend of the Overfiend Part 1 and 2. Now, I don't have the box or a DVD to actually show you. I found this, well, I say I found this. I was actually showed this many, many years ago by someone who shall remain nameless. And I was only shown a few clips of it, and then I decided to buy a copy of it myself. Now, Legend of the Overfiend is basically the story of about three different races of people. You have us, you have the half beast, the half man beast, and then you get demons. Now, it's said that every 3,000 years, a super being who is effectively called the god of gods, called the Chojin, would come to the earth realm and then reunite everything and make everything better. The whole story revolves around this general concept, and the main character is a guy called Amano Jaku. Now, as I said, I haven't got a DVD or anything, but I'll explain why late in a minute. Now, he has been on a quest here for the last 300 years to find the Chojin, and he's come very close to finding people who would match up to that kind of idea. And in the end, it turns out that the little prophecy that he was told about was slightly wrong, and the reason for that is one of the other main characters that is actually involving in the story is a guy called Nagumo. Sorry, it's been a while since I watched it. Nagumo and his obsession with a girl called Akemi, who I should point out that they all look about 17, 18 years old. But Amino, like I said, is over 300 years old. But if you could look that good at that age, that'd be really great. Actually, I'll take these off. Anywho, so the rise in sort of demon attacks has started, and Amino comes along. He's like, something's not right here. And then later on, his sister Megumi and Kuroko, who's this like little grey floating demon thing. Well, I don't know if he's a demon, but he's a something. They come along, and they make a bet that Nagumo is the sister says that Nagumo is the Chojin. And Amino reckons it's this other bloke. Actually, I'm gonna put it back on. Who is like the great, the sports star. Brilliant, everything, really good looking. And to cut a long story short, it's not him. He gets killed whilst attacking a load of demons, and he does turn into a monster, but it's not the Chojin. Nagumo then goes after Akemi and gets her attention. They go out, etc., and all that sort of stuff. I should point out that I'm drinking Lemsip for the second time this month because I've got another bloody cold. So if you're working with me at TDF, I blame one of you for giving this to me. Anyway, Nagumo gets gets hit by a truck, and then whilst in the morgue, he reawakens, and then turns into this demon. Now, I'm going to have to omit some parts of this because of the content. Anyway, so he then basically does something obscene to a nurse. She dies, and then he turns into this giant demon, which is later called the Overfiend. Or, actually, I'll rephrase that. The Overfiend is his first form, which is what he does to the nurse, and then the Destroyer is what the giant form is. Now, it kind of looks like, I guess our depiction of what Satan would look like, a big monstrous thing with like horns and wings and such. Anyway, to cut a long story short, there's a lot of fighting and a lot of scenes which I can't explain on YouTube because of the content required, and I don't want my account shut down again. And then it turns out that the Chojin is the offspring of Nagumo and later Akemi, who becomes pregnant with the Overfiend's kid, not Nagumo's. That's the big thing. Now, there's a humongous fight, and it's basically the Destroyer, from what the Chojin says to Amano later, because he meets him briefly, is that the Destroyer is sent out to destroy absolutely everything after all three worlds have come here, and then the Chojin can do its work when it's born. Now, this is where it gets odd, because the first part is pretty much straightforward. The second film onward until I think there are 6 in total. I can't remember all the titles, but I know the last one's called Inferno Road. Everything after that then goes completely weird. I mean, the whole continuity thing with it just gets completely thrown out. Now, I am going to include links for it on the description bar below so you can read it properly. And I haven't got more another week or so to try and explain this because it's just really, really bizarre. Now, the reason I haven't got a copy is because it has such a high sexual content of not the good kind, I should point out, that most of it was actually banned before it was sold. Now, the only way you could get hold of this, if I remember right, is you had to order it on, well, wait for the ban to be lifted and then you could buy it. And even then, you had to have you had to be 18 or over to actually watch it because it had such a high content rating. Now I know it doesn't sound that much, but trust me, it really is. Although it's a good concept, with minus all the sexual content, I should point out. The second one involves a guy called Munihausen, whose dad was a Nazi scientist working for Hitler, who was meant to bring someone called the Evil King, who was supposedly able to destroy the Trojan. Now, I was thinking, if you're the god of gods and you've created everything, you're not going to exactly make something to kill yourself, are you? That is where it kind of went wrong, first point. Second point was the Evil King wasn't really an evil king. It was actually someone else who was actually Nagumo's cousin, Takayaki, who becomes this kind of monster thing, with a horn coming out of his eye, which to me makes no sense, and a blob on its forehead. Imagine like a blue Hulk with no hair, and it just went and growled a lot. That one had equally as much. Basically, the whole. It's not a trilogy. The whole set, I suppose. It's just basically monsters, sex, and violence, gratuitous violence. Um, I don't really know where else to go with this one, truth be told. Basically, in my personal opinion, they should have just done the first one, stopped, and then that's it. Because they could have left that whole story open, and then that would have been. No, they should have closed it there, and it would have been perfectly fine. All the other stuff. I actually watched Inferno Road because you can only get it in Japanese dub. I think it only goes up to English dub to the third one, which I can't remember the title of. It's called Return of the Overfiend. It only goes up to English dub on that one, but you can get Japanese dub in all of them. And in the end, it's meant to be, oh yeah, the Trojan's going to do this, blah blah blah, and it's not. It's just the Overfiend just gets a drop of blood in its mouth and goes, "Argh," and everything changes. And then Amino comes up at the very end and goes, "What the hell? What have you done?" And then everything looks exactly the same as it did before. So, very disappointed actually, but as I said, should have left it on the first one. So, as I said, well, med sip again. Legend of the Overfiend 1 and 2 are quite good, but the continuity in it was completely mucked up from the second one onward. The sexual content should have been cut down. It's actually said on a couple of forum boards that it should have been because it was just too much. And as much as I like manga stuff, it does make me realise how weird some Japanese people, Japanese men specifically, are. Now, if you are a Japanese man and you are watching this, I mean no disrespect, okay? I still love all your artwork and all your comics and manga and stuff. And if you're a Chinese person watching this, I still love all your food, and I will never live off, and I will never, go off that. And if you're a sad English person who sits in his parents' bedroom, or well, not his parents, sits in his parents' house watching this, or if you're an American and you're just sitting in your basement, go outside. There is a world out there for you to look at as well. Now, rant over. I'm going to stop on that one before I get loads of hate mail and people shouting at me, etc. And next time I'm going to do a review of Firefly and Serenity and how it is awesome and how it should have been continued. Oh, on one final note, and this has nothing to do with any, well, not really. I recently found out that the new Thundercats series that I thought was brilliant has now been cancelled because a load of people found the story very difficult to follow. It's a bunch of male, well, humanoid cats with swords and technology and magic. What is difficult to follow with that? Honestly, if I find that this is from America, I will be over there to the bloody Fox Network or Cartoon Network, whoever it is, and I will get to bloody put it back on. Even if it's just for me, because I really liked it. I've even got the last two books, DVDs coming along, and I really want to watch it, and I really want them to finish it, okay? So I'll bloody bring it back. Okay, rant over. I'm going to go get my dinner. So, I will see you next week. Rock on.